I guess that's it. That's it. Comments were turned off. If I go back to me, hi. Wow. Okay. First of all, it wasn't the announcement that I was expecting. I felt actually it was quite low key. Um, Not low key, but smaller than I thought. But I also kind of appreciate that because when they go too grand and you have the fake dancing on stage and the woo, yay, like we're Google, we're so happy. Oh, sorry, that just went into autoplay there or something. But I liked that it just cut all that and just straight into we need to talk about our AI. This is how it's going to work with language, and that we're going to show you stuff regardless of what language it was written in. We can show it to you in your language. Now, we've already been told that by the search advocate team within Google for a long time. So that wasn't really new news. But certainly this idea that they have Google testers currently using, as he said, this version of Lambda, but that's kind of gone into Bard and they're doing a kind of a smaller rollout is of course interesting, but it's not anything other than what we were already told by Google. So Google did make definitely it was a rushed announcement on the back of Microsoft's announcement that they would be integrating ChatGPT or their better version of that, I think it is, into search results. I don't know that we actually got that. We just got that, certain testers are testing it. And we actually got a bit of a pullback of like, we have people testing it right now. We're going to see how that goes. We're very confident, but we're also going to be responsible. We're going to be ethical. I don't know that they use the word ethics, but definitely they use the word responsibility. So it's kind of a managing expectations. I think my second point would be I felt they were a little arrogant. And you know what? Maybe they have the right to do so. They are Google. I mean, nobody beats them. So maybe they have every right to be arrogant. But to say that we will change the face of search, I disagree with that. I do think they are on the back foot at the moment. I think it's probably the first time that that's ever happened to them. I think that it started with TikTok. I think TikTok shocked them. I felt it took way too long for them to start showing short videos in Google search. And it does make me think that as a corporation, just the size of it maybe is what goes against it. Having said that, Microsoft is really big too, but they just got there first, right? They got there first. And I don't think Google can move that fast. And I don't think they want to. Oh, hi. Yes, the event's over. Hi, Indus. Yeah, there basically it was just the same as what they had already told us. So they already had said they had these, testers that they had rolled out this Lambda/Bard AI search result engine too. And they just said the same thing verbally. I thought the presenter was nervous. I don't blame him. I actually genuinely think they've been caught on the back foot. I really, really do. What else? Yeah, they told us what we already knew. Bard. Let's go back to TikTok. Google identified TikTok. This is going a while back. This is long before Microsoft made their announcement and everything of the past few days. That's been quite dramatic. But a long time ago, Google had already identified TikTok, as did Facebook identify TikTok, as a major competitor and also a change in how people search. So where they used to be like the leading innovators, that they had to actually go, oh, somebody else is after changing. This is what they want to do. They would like to think that they change how people search. And this time they didn't. TikTok changed how people searched. So then in response, Google started indexing short videos. It released its own version on YouTube. So we have YouTube Shorts of vertical video. It also started showing short videos in search results. And it all took what I felt, it took far too long, like ages for them to kind of even try to get to grips with vertical video. So, and it was really important for them to kind of respond to that and to adapt quickly. Really important, because they said themselves, TikTok is a threat. Okay, well then why aren't you responding? Why is it taking you so long to show vertical video in search results, to have your own vertical video on YouTube? How long it took them to get vertical video on YouTube in itself is a disgrace. In itself. Like, they've only just started pushing in the past like year or two, really pushing YouTube Shorts. I mean, that is so incredibly late to the vertical video party. So, and now they've been pipped to the post by Google, or by, I was going to say Google. So Google has been pipped to the post by Bing. And that's incredible. Did we ever think we'd see that in 2023? Like, that Bing was going to be this amazing innovator and was going to get there before that they would release. You know, Microsoft owns ChatGPT. I think what they're running behind Bing is a better version even of that. Did we ever think, like, people today are downloading Microsoft Edge? I thought Microsoft browsers were dead. Dead. I did not think I would see a day when people would be downloading Microsoft browsers again. Genuinely, like, you know, because it's so hard to compete against Google, because they have so many products. They have Maps, they have Google search results, they have YouTube, they have email, they have a browser. You know, it's so many things. And even I thought it was interesting to see the arts and culture person, because I was thinking this myself about the data set. So if we just talk about language learning models like ChatGPT and Bard, and then we think about data sets, why has nobody been able to compete against Google all these years? It's because Google has the superior data set. It's enormous. If I had an AI model and I started training it on just the data that I had, and it was like 10 things, my model is going to be shit. My model is not going to be good trained on my 10 little tiny bits of information on my hard drive, okay? When you train your AI on a data set, the size, or the just what Google has access to. This is why nobody's been able to beat Google for all these years in search results, because they have the data set that nobody else can match. And Bing has tried, and other browsers have tried. And they can't, just trying to rip away a little bit of market share from Google. It's never been able to happen because they have their finger in so many pies. All of their products are so tightly integrated. And to go back to the arts and culture person, and Google have been in trouble for this as well. They've kind of gone into gray areas when it comes to copyright and what they have or haven't the right to do. But I know there was a point where Google was scanning books, and it was adding books in libraries to its collection, something along those lines. I can't fully remember what it was, but they tread into it. They go into a bit of a gray area. Having said that, though, they've done it now. They have access to certain pieces of information and data and books and things of historical significance, including art, like the little art presentation that was done there. Can Bing, like, does Bing have that data set? And that's where Google has kind of relied on their data set to be able to kind of hold onto this enormous market share all these years. And in a way, you could get complacent when you have that. Because why? I don't really need to work that hard because nobody can beat me anyway because I have this data set. And maybe that's where they've slipped a little bit in terms of innovation. And I hate saying that because I sound wrong, because everything that they announced in the presentation is so innovative, and it is. And their Maps product is incredible. Nobody can beat Google Maps. Nobody. But in other aspects, I think with the traditional search, the traditional search engine, it's slipping. It is slipping. And it's why they saw TikTok as a competitor. They think people don't want that traditional search anymore. And maybe they're right, but also they weren't actually pulling in enough things into search. And they were too slow to respond, very slow to respond. And if they were faster, if they incorporated more things, and they say they don't do this, and I'm sure they don't favor like Google products in search. But that doesn't mean that doesn't influence their decision making internally, where they say, oh, well, we can't show a preference to YouTube Shorts over TikToks, let's say, because we'll get in trouble. But we may make a decision that actually maybe we don't want to show that much. We won't show vertical video until we have one that we can index. And maybe that's the kind of thinking that causes the delay. But that can be, a kind of, I want to say like a death spiral, because it wouldn't really be that. But it can be just this like downward decline, and in the meantime, these other competitors of yours, they're not going to be sitting on their laurels. They're going to recognize there's an opportunity and they're going to get it because they've been trying for a long time. Thank you so much. It was, there's not like that much to comment on. Thank you for leaving a comment. Yeah, there's like not even that much to comment on. It's a lot of what they said already, but it's just more my own thoughts on everything that's going to happen this year. It's going to be a really interesting year. Really, really interesting. Google is panicking. Thanks for that comment, Daversini. Yes, Google's panicking. Google's absolutely panicking. I think it's why the presenter was nervous. I always feel that too. Like if I'm speaking about something that I'm very confident and sure in, and like I'm ready and I'm organized, I wouldn't get nervous because I'm talking about something I'm so passionate about and I'm excited, and you would get nervous, but I think it's much harder when you've actually had to hurry something up that you weren't even ready to talk about yet. And that is essentially, I believe, what happened to Google. They weren't even ready to talk about this yet fully, and they've had to really scramble to get something out to take away some of this excitement about Microsoft. And Microsoft have great products, like, my husband's a programmer. They exclusively use Microsoft. People are on email for Microsoft as well. Microsoft Teams is great. Many businesses, everybody, using that. Bing has an opportunity. Bing has an opportunity here with this chat version. I have even signed up myself onto the waiting list. So I think they said, if you use your Microsoft login to go onto the waiting list, you may get preference. So just to note that if you're going onto the wait list as well. But I'm excited because for a long time, I have just been waiting for, I don't know, it feels risky, right? I work with a lot of small businesses and they're so reliant on Google traffic. And you just always have that thing of like, if something went wrong, and it mightn't even be our fault, it might actually be the fault of Google. Like Google just makes a mistake and deranks the website, no fault of ours, let's say. That's like 95% of the search traffic gone because there is no competitor. Everything is coming from this one place, and it's not a good place to be in if you're a small business owner. You're too reliant on it. But let's say I could see that like half of the traffic is coming from Google and half of the traffic is coming from Bing. Well, if one of those search engines makes a mistake and, maybe something bad or whatever, and then we can fight to come back from it, but it's going to take a while, that kind of thing. Like everything is recoverable, but it's just a matter of time and what happened in investigating, right? But you can at least say, okay, that's bad. We're down on traffic from that search engine, but we have the other 50% from this one. So at least we're not going to zero here. It's too risky. Like it's, and there's another thing when it comes to SEO. And this is just the job of SEO. So it's our job to get websites to rank. And that has been exclusively in Google for the past decades. Like, it's just been ranking Google. That's it. That's all the customer wants. That's all anybody says. There is no other browser. And there's so little traffic from other browsers that your business will be reliant on that. And I think because SEO has changed so much over the years, so like SEO is so much more than like, oh, we're just trying to like trick Google or whatever. It's actually, we've been looking at websites and saying like, we need to make this website faster. We need to make this website have valuable content for people that come and visit. We need this website to, I don't know, be error-free, not don't have bugs in it, or pages going 404 that shouldn't be, or old content that's inaccurate. Like, it's such a, and that's not even everything that we do in SEO. Like, there's a huge list of things that you do in SEO. And people are really freaking out because every year there's this SEO is dead. So if you Google SEO is, I bet you if you put in a space, it's, or SEO is dead and you put a space, there's literally SEO is dead 2020, SEO is dead 2021, SEO is dead 2022. And now we have SEO is dead 2023. But now people are really feeling it in their bones that it is, because they feel that this particular, what we're seeing in the screenshots and everything of Bard from the, you know, whatever Google has released, and obviously they have testers using it. The way that Bard is constructing the answer in search, it is appearing like a featured snippet. So we love featured snippets in SEO. We want to get those. Google gives you the answer at the top and they give a link to your website underneath. You might not get a huge amount of traffic from the featured snippet because people got the answer in the small bit, but at least maybe they saw your URL, or they get your name, maybe the name of your company is in the URL, or, you know, but you get all those impressions. You know that Google likes your website. You know that Google found your website had helpful content. And because there's helpful content in their algorithm, now your whole website actually gets pulled up a level. So that's been a really worthwhile thing to do on your website. Now, that featured snippet will be essentially, that area is going to be generated by Bard. So you'll now get, I type something, I got the instant answer, but now that's being presented as unique, quote unquote, content generated by Bard as an answer. Now, for the Bing kind of version of this, in their search results, they actually put citations down at the bottom. So if their AI, whatever they're training it on, whatever websites, you know, whatever they're training it on, they generate the answer, and then underneath you can see links to websites that they've basically, the AI has used something that it took from each of those websites, that it's created its own bit of content, but then it's attributing where it was trained from or where it pulled this information from underneath. That's very smart of Bing, because that doesn't piss us off. You know, genuinely, that's all it is. Like, it's just, and maybe it's a legal thing. Maybe they are preempting, you know, that people are going to wonder about plagiarism. They're going to wonder, like, how reworded is the AI piece of content? Is it taking like a half sentence or a full sentence from something that I found online? Even if it's a half sentence, but what if it's the same? What if it's a half sentence multiple times from the same article taken from somewhere else? Is that okay? But is that plagiarism? And now if you put no credit, so this is the difference with Google. From the screenshots we're seeing with Google, we are not seeing attribution, or where, like, wherever the AI was inspired in creating their content. Can you call it unique content? The AI has rewritten what it's seen around the internet. Is that unique? Should you put in an attribute for wherever you got the important points or the most information? Should you be putting something to say, hey, here's your click? Now, in today's announcement, I did think that was interesting. He almost referred to that exact point, but in a more vague term, but I did think it touched on it, where he was like, something along the lines of like, we don't want to piss people off, we're going to try and do it the right way. To me, if you're going to try and do it the right way, you've got to build it the same way Bing has, and you've got to put in those attributions. Because I think he did mention something about still sending traffic to people's websites. And I thought it was interesting that he touched on that, and I hope it means that that is on their radar and that they are aware that like all of these years, we've had this agreement with Google that we are happy to kind of bend over backwards to give you amazing content, helpful content. And in return, we want a click. You know, and if we don't get a click anymore, we're probably going to recommend people to use other browsers that will give us a click. And not a threat thing, but just a community thing. You know, communities drive, like people who work in SEO, people who are non-tech savvy, they may ask us, what's the best search engine? And we might not recommend Google anymore. Would it make a difference? I have no idea, but I think it would make some difference. It would make some difference. So like we have to get that click. We have to get that click. That's the agreement. The golden life of Caesar 3D maps thing is cool. Very cool. Loved that. Nobody beats Google Maps. Like literally nobody. Agreed. Thank you. Voyager, welcome. The Bing one looks like it's based off OpenAI's WebGPT. Yeah. Something like that. Oh, Voyager, thank you. Elaborating. It basically uses a text-based browser to search the web and summarize a specific page or cite a particular source. Yes. Yeah. And it looks like as well, they can present both, like the traditional results are displayed here, normal, traditional, what you're used to. And then you can have the chat GPT or whatever they're using is on the right-hand side. So like they're going to maybe run both alongside each other for a while, which I also think that's just a smart way to do it too, for just releasing it into the wild, just to give people the option. And I suppose they can track then, okay, have people gone for the traditional thing or have they gone over to the chat one? We was Xavier, we was expecting Bard. Yes, we were. We just got the same announcement that we already had from yesterday. So same thing. Rohit, is blogging dead after that? No, blogging will never be dead. As long as people need websites, they need blogs. It's as simple as that. Users, even if there was no such thing as a search engine, your customers or your potential customers like to come into your website and see something new and something helpful and something, you know, you can put videos into your blogs, like embed videos in. It's nice for people. You can use it as content across social media. You can link your blog across social media. You could use your video, like you can make a video out of your blog, which AI actually is very useful for as well. I use Lumen 5. It like makes videos out of your blogs, which is a really nice use of AI as well. I'm putting the question mark so I knew. Thanks. So Xavier, but the power of this visual representation thing is like the capacity to drive Midjourney to produce something very, very specific. The power of the, is like the capacity to drive Midjourney to produce something very, yes, it is a powerful thing. I always have a thing. They love doing all the Google Lens stuff in these Google presentations. I've rarely used it. I literally used it maybe like yesterday or the day before because I have a tree in the garden that I didn't know what it was. And I just used it for the leaf and it did immediately identify the tree, which was amazing. And it was correct, like it was accurate. So I was like, wow, that's amazing. But I probably won't use that feature now for like another year or 2 years. So I don't know. They're great. I'm sure other people are using those, the kind of Google Lens more stuff than I am. I don't use it that much. Rohit, you're worried. Don't be worried. Don't be worried. Not about blogging. Blogging is always, honestly, I've seen amazing things over the years with blogs. Like my husband is a magician and he doesn't do SEO. He doesn't know anything about, he knows some stuff from hearing me, but not really. It's not really on his radar. And he subscribed to a blogger. There's an engine called Ghost. And basically kind of like there's Substack and there's Medium and all this stuff, but I think this was built on Ghost CMS, and he literally was paying each month just to be able to read some private blogs, because it's quite handy for magic too, because it's quite secretive. So you had to pay to kind of see maybe some of things that only magicians should be able to read. And I thought that was so cool. And that has absolutely nothing to do with Google or SEO. That can be done through social media. The thing is, we have to remember too, that if Bing are doing it the way that they seem to be with attribution, you may get like a lot of traffic from Bing. And also people may move to Bing. So this is what we have to like remember and prepare for, that like, yes, Google might do it the wrong way. And let's say we start seeing like falling traffic to blogs in Google because it's just basically taking whatever content and just making its own answer. People may move to Bing as well. But I think there is going to be upheaval. Like, I don't want to say there isn't going to be upheaval. And especially for blogging, I think, yes, there will be. But I think there's been upheaval for a long time in blogging. Like, there's things that have happened that have made it so much easier, like social media and like being able to set up subscription models, and people being willing to enter into that is like incredible, because for years, bloggers didn't know how to even monetize their blogs, and affiliate links and all that stuff that people are able to do. So I think there's ups and downs when you're a blogger. I think we have to wait and see what's going to happen. But I think blogging is wider than SEO as well. So in that sense, I think it has some resiliency. Kidu, you're joking, right? SEO is dead. Yeah. People say this every year. SEO was dead last year as well. And SEO was also dead the year before that. And the year, it's literally every year SEO is dead. So who knows? I think what I would like to see out of this is, SEO not being dead, but SEO actually being distributed across Google and Bing, and maybe other search engines too. I mean, if it's Bing's opportunity, then maybe there's opportunity there for other smaller search engines as well. Xavier, online relevance will reshape into personal relevance. Yep. And I think authorship is like a big deal. I know that CNET started generating articles on their website using AI. This is more now on the generation of content. So this is to kind of on both sides, right? So Google and Bing are using the AI language models to generate content to show us search results. But we can also use these models to generate content. And this is where I think personal relevance kicks in, because on the CNET website, they don't have an author. So like, how do you put authorship if something is written by the AI? So you can either say like they have a disclaimer now where they say it was written by AI, I think. And they put the actual author as like, CNET Money Team, or they just kind of put like a generic, it wasn't a name. It was just a generic author, but not a name. So this is another thing for blogging. I think just make sure that on your blog articles, you're showing that you are a human writer, and you have a little picture there, and you're linking into your about page, and you're like letting people know my articles are written by me, Hilary Quinn, and I think that's going to be something that's important. What happened with the CNET one was that it was meant to go through the same editorial process that the human written articles go through. And this is a psychological thing that I thought was so interesting. The editors basically didn't edit the AI articles in the same way they did the human ones. So they were more critical of the human ones and would put it through an edit. But when it was AI generated, it seemed like there was more trust, or they just automatically thought, okay, that's fine, I don't really need to read over it, publish. And it was only afterwards that people who were reading the article started discovering inaccuracies and reporting them back to CNET, at which point they had to reassess what they were doing, which they did. But I thought there was an interesting psychological phenomenon there where they trusted the AI so much that they weren't like looking over them properly before they got published. But if it was a human, they did. And I thought that was so interesting how much why we trust AI over humans is fascinating to me that happened. Just it's like the psychology of it, really. Kidu, thank you for the comment. ChatGPT got to 100 million users within 2 months with zero traditional marketing. Yeah, ChatGPT is insane. It's crazy. Like it's incredibly powerful. It's obviously what we've needed for a long time as well. Like as just humans, we've actually needed, without really knowing that we needed it that much, we've needed something that would just speak to us in our own language in like a natural way. And that's interesting too, that we were craving that somehow and we didn't know it until we saw it and went, oh my God, we've needed this for so long. So it's no surprise that Bing is, integrating that into their search model, because it's what we wanted. It's what we needed. We didn't know it until we saw it. And now we realize that, yes, this is what search should be. Now, I still have my critique on how they're implementing it. I just think the word plagiarism needs to be, I don't know that it needs to be applied, but it needs to be some way there of like, I don't know, just studies need to be done to see. And I know people have already actually done studies, because there already has been a study that I was reading about where it had taken half sentences of one piece written by one person and just used all of them in their generated, AI content. And when you get to the point that could be recognizable, the other thing is they have their own tool that recognizes content generated by them. There's zero GPT. So I think that zero GPT is actually made by the same people that made ChatGPT, if I'm not wrong. I'm not sure, but they basically have, this is you generating it, and this is how we can tell if it was generated. Now, I've heard varying reports on the accuracy of zero GPT. So some people think it's really accurate and they've fed it in content that was generated and it's correctly identified, and then they've edited it enough to be like, oh, it's not now, or whatever. But then other people have fed it like Taylor Swift lyrics and it has said that those lyrics are AI generated, which isn't true. So yeah, hard to say. But yeah, it's incredible. The growth in ChatGPT is like insane. So Rohit, can we drive traffic from social media on AdSense website to earn revenue? On AdSense, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Like using Google Ads to send to social media? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I wouldn't be I'm kind of more the organic results and stuff like that. So while I dabble in kind of social media and stuff like that, I wouldn't be 100 million% the expert for that. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to give advice on that particular question. Sorry about that, Rohit, but thanks everybody for all the comments. So I'm probably going to wind it down. Thanks everybody for joining in. It's amazing to get all the comments. It was an interesting presentation from Google, but not really anything that we didn't know already. But certainly, I think the conversation is not going to stop around, what these AI models are being trained on, whether attributions or credit needs to be given to authors that they are, sampling. in a way, the word sample is good too, because you get this in music. People use samples in music and they feel like they have the right to use it because they made their own unique song. They just took this one sample. But actually you can get sued for using a sample without permission, and you can lose if you go to court. And the other person can actually say, actually, you need to pay me for using that sample. And I think this could be a similar, actually, kind of a situation. Again, this is if Bard stays in its current iteration, which looks like it doesn't have any attribution. The big model does. The big model does have attribution. And just another note to say, like, we all have influence. And like, whatever happens with all of this, whether it suits us or doesn't suit us, like, it needs to benefit people who own websites. Otherwise, our deal is off. We give you good content, you give us a click. If that's no longer the arrangement, then the deal is off. And we just remember that we have influence in our own spheres and online and everywhere. That even, whatever direction this takes, we can try and steer it to the one that benefits the people who run websites that need traffic to go to those websites, and especially small business owners. It's got to benefit everybody. And the internet's for everyone. The internet is not for, big tech to kind of eat it up and regurgitate it and take up all of our work and give us nothing in return. I don't think that was the deal. Like, we've got to get something back out of it ourselves. So we'll just try and remember we have influence, so we can do stuff. But we'll keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on it. And thanks, everybody. Thanks, Rohit. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you all joining in. Give the channel a subscribe if you feel like it. I'll be around whenever drama happens. I'll try and do some more broadcasting. So thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.